welcome to game 3 of Catdontbark vs. UltimateGeek in medium game pool play. Let's take a look at this kingdom. So a couple things going on here. One is we have very good trashing with Cathedral, but we also have discard attacks with Militia and Catapult, which makes Cathedral pretty dicey. That being said, I very much find it, I think on 5-2 you just go Cathedral nothing. And on 3-4 you do Cathedral Militia. I think that's what you do. Maybe you can't. Maybe you have to go Militia nothing because you have to add money to the deck. It's possible you just miss 3 a bunch of times in a row if they keep Militia attacking you. So maybe 5-3 you have to do Militia nothing and then Cathedral turn 3 and be sad about it. Because if they go Cathedral Militia and they just start hitting you every turn and then they get Royal Galleys and Rogue. Rogue does not seem useful here. But yeah, it's pretty clear to be Cathedral Militia and then you add Royal Galley, Snowy, Mountain Village, etc. It's just clear. That plan is pretty clear to me. I really don't like Catapult Militia. I really don't like Catapult at all. Catapult seems like a really terrible card here. The best card is by far Cathedral. And we really just should be clicking that immediately every time. On this kind of kingdom, because you have Royal Galley, you can play a Village and then Royal Galley a Wayfarer. So even if you get discard attacked, if you have Royal Galley Wayfarer coming into play, you have plenty of cards to find. I don't understand why they're buying Catapults here. Cathedral will get you thin. I mean, I do kind of understand it because I think some players are scared of Cathedral. But, I don't know, spectators who are still here, another match has started recently. I'm pretty sure you just click on Cathedral here, turn 1 with most splits. I think with 3-4, I'm clicking on Cathedral Silver. Sorry, with 4-3, I'm clicking on Cathedral Silver. 3-4 is Cathedral Militia, and the 5-2, I think, is either Militia nothing or Cathedral nothing, depending on what my opponent has done. But these decks would be much further along with Cathedral, and again, with Royal Galley plus Wayfarer, you're just cramming in good cards to your deck very quickly. And they're wasting all this terminal space on Catapults, which are preventing them from having enough money to buy good cards. So, Rogue can even gain if you have to trash a good card. Rogue can gain it back out again from that Cathedral trashed. So it's not even like a huge problem. I don't think you can play with Cathedral. Or Cauldron. I don't think you play with Capital. I think you're playing with Wayfarer, Royal Galley mostly, with a couple of Villages and Militia. I would probably need 1 Snowy just for terminal space and plus buy. And then after that, you sort of grab a bunch of Groundskeepers, and then you can pick up random estates and trash those to Cathedral. And if you've got Royal Galley Wayfarer coming into play every turn, you're drawing a ton of cards, so you're not really concerned about Cathedral having to trash a good card, even if you've been discard attacked. We're just seeing here, if we had Cathedral in play, we would have thinned our estates by turn 5 or 6, and we're turn 9 now, and Catdontbark is drawing 3 estates, which is unlucky to draw them all together, but that's the kind of thing that happens when you skip Cathedral. Cathedral's just a really powerful card, card-shaped object, as it were. I think the other thing is yes, the Militia, the discard attack slows you down, but the Cathedral deck is quickly getting down to just silvers and Militias, so it's, even if it's having to discard 2, it's trashing a copper and then playing Militia Silver, buying a Royal Galley, and then it's drawing with Royal Galley. It's affording Silver or Royal Galley every turn and thinning all of its bad cards. This should be a Wayfarer, I assume. And they can even, Catapult can even grab that Wayfarer out of the discard pile now with the Mountain Village, which is nice. Although Royal Galley and Militia is maybe possibly better, especially because I know we have a Catapult down there. So grabbing Royal Galley and outplaying Royal Galley Militia seems quite nice. Get the terminal out of the shuffle. If we draw a copper, we'll be able to buy another village. We didn't, but we can just go ahead and buy a... We probably buy a snowy village now, I think, because we already have gained the real Galley. Oh, we had a snowy from the previous turn. From the previous... Oh, we had a snowy at the bottom of the shuffle. Okay. So yeah, then silver makes sense. And rogue does very little. They're gaining silvers, which... Yeah, like if there was a cathedral... If there was Cathedral in play and they had to trash their own silvers, it just, I'm not sure. I think here you discard Catapult Copper. And, yeah, you can definitely gain a silver here, probably. Honestly, it's turn 13. I think I would still click on Cathedral as either one of these players. It still seems like the best card in the Kingdom. We reach a point usually much before turn 13 where if you've skipped Cathedral, you don't need to get it. But I like Real Galley's second Snowy for Catdontbark. Obviously, Real Galley on Snowy is pretty sad, but it is what it is. And UltimateGeek does now need a Snowy themselves. Catapult can grab now. I probably grab the first Mountain Village and then the Wayfarer. And this is not a terrible shuffle to trigger. You've got the Snowy in there. Decent chance of drawing it next turn. And here they can pick up like another Royal Galley and Wayfarer pair. I don't know. Maybe you should leave the Mountain Village in that shuffle. It's kind of sad if you. Yeah, there's 9 cards in there. I guess you probably did need to leave the Mountain Village shuffle. They went for province already. I don't think they quite have the necessary deck control to add a province quite yet, but I think there's a lot they can do to increase their deck control before they need to do that. We'll see here. There's a thing UltimateGeek can do. They can Catapult trash a silver here to give out a curse, and they did it. I would usually trash the copper first myself and then do this, because then they gain the silver back. And again, for UltimateGeek, I would buy... I think they need another Mountain Village, so Mountain Village Royal Galley would be my buys here. I think you can get better deck control here as UltimateGeek and make up a 2 province deficit for sure. You're attacking every turn, and there's also Groundskeeper, which is quite nice for making up the distance. And once you have deck control, you can start to use the catapults to thin your what am I saying? You can start using catapults to thin your estates and the curses. So the UltimateGeek's out of actions here, so they have to sort of carefully decide. I think they have not counted their actions here. I think they have not realized they have a Snowy Village in play. Because I think you wanted to play this Wayfarer, try to draw some silvers, and then play the Rogue and buy some 4 costs. Now they're out of money, and maybe they can undo that Mountain Village play. It's kind of an info undo. I don't know if I would allow that. Because now I think you just play the Rogue to gain the silver and end turn. You could also Catapult Curse and end turn. That also seems acceptable to me. And we've got a Wayfarer and a Snowy set aside, so next turn's also going to be sad, which is kind of the unfortunate reality of Royal Galley Snowy Village. They do not realize they have a Snowy Village in play, is the answer. Okay, I would allow this undo then. I would allow this undo. But they shouldn't have played the Groundskeeper is the issue, because playing the Groundskeeper was bad too, and they can't really undo that part. But they could have played Wayfarer, Rogue, and hopefully drawn a silver. And maybe they still can. They can play the Wayfarer now, draw a silver, and then Rogue and buy another Royal Galley. I realize it's confusing because they... It's confusing because they don't have this. They can't see the Snowy right now. It's hidden underneath the Royal Galley. I guess you buy another Wayfarer. Wayfarers are good cards for the deck. Ooh. I would not have bet that rocks would be revealed. So, there you go. That has happened. Okay, yeah, certainly we can do Royal Galley now on Wayfarer. And then Mountain Village, and now you pause and count after playing the Mountain Village. Yeah, so this is fine. We can trash a curse, trash a copper, trash a silver, buy 2 things. We didn't need to... Oh, I would have trashed the copper here, but there you go. I would buy for UltimateGeek Wayfarer and a Mountain Village. I think they can build 2 more turns. I think they can also add another Snowy fairly soon. And maybe you add a Cauldron just for the plus buy now. Maybe that was a good turn to add, like Cauldron plus Wayfarer. I think they're greening too quickly. I think with Groundskeeper around, you just want to add plus buy, keep adding in good action cards, and build to triple something. And if that triple something is triple Groundskeeper and then the next turn triple Estate, you feel pretty good about yourself. And again, Royal Galley on Mountain Village is a pretty nice draw. I think we just play this Snowy and commit to not doing that. But we definitely needed more Wayfarers here. Because Wayfarer costs 0 right now. We can always add 1. Ooh, undo. You can undo and buy Wayfarer, Groundskeeper, and your Wayfarer, another Wayfarer is missing from the deck. I think they need more draw. Catdontbark, meanwhile, has lost fairly significant amount of deck control with all the curses that UltimateGeek has given out. They definitely greened too early. They could have added more Mountain Villages, Royal Galleys, and Wayfarers have been drawing deck, and then when they started getting hit with the curses, they would have had catapults, to deal with that. Or Cathedral, if you've got 2 Wayfarers Royal Galleyed, then you start the turn by drawing 6 cards, so even if you have to discard a couple of good cards to the Militia or Catapult attack. But it's just not clear to me how Catdontbark's going to be able to get deck control back at this stage of the game. With 7, they probably can buy a Groundskeeper. It's not unreasonable to start adding those. For UltimateGeek, it's very important they click the Mountain Village before they click the... Oh, they're both... It's a Mountain Village and a Catapult, so it doesn't neither draw. I thought they had a Mountain Village and a Wayfarer. Yeah, so Catapult bought another Wayfarer, which is not unreasonable. As UltimateGeek, I think you play the Groundskeeper first and hope to draw a Royal Galley. But as it is, we can Royal Galley this Groundskeeper, which is quite nice. The errata on Groundskeeper has changed recently, so there's no line here, so it works even if it's out of play with the Royal Galley around. I really think they should be thinning some coppers here, but I'm not 100% about that. Like, this just doesn't seem like... This seems like a spot where as UltimateGeek, you just buy Wayfarer Mountain Village and say, I've got a 4-point lead and your deck is much worse and I don't need to green. And I'm just going to keep adding in value cards. Maybe Cauldron, Wayfarer Cauldron is good too. I think they need a little bit more draw in the deck. Or do they set aside a Groundskeeper, which is going to work as a village, which is nice. But yeah, they province, which is a, I don't know, practical choice. I would have preferred, I think, building more when your opponent's in this state, just to make sure you don't have a big dud somehow. But Catdontbark's got a lot of curses in the deck right now, and UltimateGeek's deck came together pretty nicely. Yeah, you definitely want to be Royal Galleying, not Mountain Village, because if you trigger a clean shuffle Mountain Village is just going to discard the card that you had to discard already to the Militia or Catapult attack. But UltimateGeek pulled out the win there, even with the bad, I think, 5-2 split. Both players skipped Cathedral, which I didn't like, so that's something they can work on. And moving on to Game 4.